It's Johnny's birthday.
So a lot of people that know me know that I really admire this guy right here. But I never really said why. Many people know I'm an artist. I make rap music and I sing as well. Now as an artist, I learned how to become a rapper by studying my favorite artists, my favorite rappers. When I was young and I first started rapping, I would, copy their flows and until I found mine, my own flow and my own style and what I want to represent. But I listened to everything to get to that point to where I wanted to do it myself. And I got to a point where I was tired of rap, listening to the same stories. Those that know me know I take a different approach to what I talk about. I'm definitely not the average type rapper. So naturally, I would get tired of listening to a bunch of drug dealers and gang members, pimps, treating girls like prostitutes, all that stuff. It gets old after a while. It's fun, but it gets old after a while to me. I wanted a different outlook on life. As rappers, we all come from the same place, the inner cities, the ghetto, the hood, whatever y'all want to call it. So a lot of us are going to have the same outlooks because we have the same struggles. But I knew there was a whole different side of, music that I hadn't tapped into. I had an uncle who, basically helped raise me. And he always used to listen to a bunch of rock and different stuff. And he used to try to tell me, yo, listen to this, listen to that. And, I was stubborn. I was like, man, I'm listening to Jay-Z, fuck you. But even though I started late, I eventually got into it. And the first person that caught my eye, and the first person I listened to was John Lennon. Now, I probably knew he was a Beatle, but I listened to his stuff before I listened to the Beatles stuff. And I'm the type, if I like an artist, I'm really gonna research their life. So I'm like, yo, what was it like in the 60s? And then I see hippies and counterculture and, the war in Vietnam and all this stuff and how the music tied into those times. And eventually that became a thing that I love a lot. Yeah, I'm that guy. All my friends will tell you I've always been the most diplomatic one out of all of us. I've always been the one that you could come talk to and we could find understanding and middle ground. So I related to these people, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, oh shit, they want peace, they don't want war. And this guy was a supporter of that. The bedding for peace. Him supporting a lot of the organizers and the activists at the time. Him being against the war, even though he was, immigrant out here on a visa. He put his citizenship on the line to defend the people. He was known as a Beatle. You know what I'm saying? He had a big influence even when he left them. He had the government watching him, because he was supporting these people that wanted peace. So this is just outside of the music. And I'm listening to the music and it's just wow, bro. If you didn't know, when he split from the Beatles, it was a lot of turmoil. Everybody knows that. But if you didn't know, he left the Beatles because he had a lot more that he wanted to do and say. When you're a part of the biggest band of all time, you have a muzzle on you. You can only say and do so much. And one thing I won't agree with is what he said about he said the Beatles were bigger than Jesus. I understand why he said it and how he meant it, but come on, that's blasphemy. But it's true, and I say that about Trump. Trump is to these people more important than fucking their religion, the way they're acting. And that's what he meant when he said that about the Beatles. These people at that time were obsessed. They probably created stands. I'm lying, maybe Elvis did it, but they took it to another level. They could not go anywhere without being chased. he didn't want to stay in that life, bro. As a Beatle, he wanted to go into the art world. When he met Yoko, she took him around and started showing him there's so much more to life than just, being a pop star. So he left the Beatles, right? And naturally, he's going to want to make music. He has the freedom to do whatever he wants now. A lot of people don't know that before he dropped his first album, he went to primal therapy. This is a man that lost his mom at a young age and was raised by his aunt, who was super strict. He was dyslexic and funny looking in school. He had a lot of trauma that he was dealing with. And what'd he do? He went to therapy. Now, primal therapy, if you look it up, it's an intense form of therapy. It's not like just the way the average person does therapy, where you just talk to somebody about your problem. They evoke the deepest and darkest, most hurtful shit out of you, and you basically get to let it out. So his first album comes right after he's done with that. So to put it in context for my rap following, this guy was like Tupac as far as feeling. The feeling and passion he put into his music, his lyrics, it was like a Tupac thing. The shit touches you, because he really means what he says. And, he showed it sometimes in the Beatles, but again, you can only go so deep when you are the biggest band in the world. When he left and he was able to be himself and simplify everything and just give you how he felt, no artist has ever, touched me, pause, like that. I just had to, I'm sorry. His discography, his catalog is just incredible, for the most part. It's him being vulnerable, and you're going to relate to it because a lot of us feel like he felt. His song Imagine, come on, man. That's just the song that resonated with the whole world. But he has so much more deeper shit than that. And that's a deep song for it to be a pop record. It doesn't sound like a pop record, even at the time. It was something completely different. Nobody was talking like that on a radio record, But that shows you what artistry does. You don't have to be one way. You can do your own thing and people will relate to it. But yeah, he introduced me to rock and roll, basically. He opened my eyes to another side of music. He helped me expand my artistry by tapping into a whole nother form of life and perspective. Because these rock artists, they come from the hood too. It's not our hood. It's not the same, inner city hood. But there's a lot of them that come from poverty and didn't have shit just like us. They just have a different perspective and they believe that they can make it out different ways. And, studying him and the rock scene also pushed me to try things that expanded my spirituality. And I'm not going to talk too much about that, but you can put two and two together if you know what Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds was supposedly about. Yeah, those trips were important. So that's how he changed my life. That's how he helped expand my horizons. Not just as an artist, but as a person and as a spirit. So I salute you, Johnny boy. It sucks that somebody so positive died so violently. But that's just the United States and the world we live in. It's unforgiving, and they're going to take out the most loved people all the time. But happy birthday, John, and thank you for everything. And salute to everybody else's life who he's impacted like mine.